Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the main card of UFC 182. We're talking right now with two guys who both come to us from MMAOddsBreaker.com. First, Nick Kalikas, professional MMA odds maker and consultant for numerous sports books, and also joining us over the phone, MMA analyst Adam Martin. All right, guys, Brad Tavares and Nate Marquardt. Another interesting handicapping situation here. Right now, it's very close to pick 'em. Marquardt minus 135. Tavares is plus 115. And both these guys are kind of in interesting spots in their careers, right? Marquardt was had a couple of losses in a row. He looked like maybe he was done, but then it was kind of impressive, his win over Tehuna, and that pretty much showed that he has something left. You know, still a competitive fighter, if not in line for a title. And you know, Tavares had a bunch of straight wins. I think it was 5 in a row, and he looked like he was, you know, on his way towards serious middleweight title contention. And then he had 2 losses, and you know, now he's in danger of suffering a 3rd straight loss. Could get cut from the UFC if that happens. So it's kind of a tricky one. You know, a bunch of years ago, this would have been an easy win for Marquardt. He would have been a big favorite here. Now it's close to Pick'em. Tavares has, you know, 8 years younger. Adam Martin, what's your take on this fight?
Oh, another tough fight on this card. I keep saying that, but this whole card, like I said, is very well matched. This is a really tough one. I think Nick opened it exactly a pick'em, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, you know, he sees it as a tough fight too, and it really is. Marquardt, obviously, he's an extremely dangerous fighter. He has a number of submission wins, a number of knockout wins in his career. He's fought a much higher level of competition than Tavares. Overall, middleweight, Marquardt's looked very good in his career, especially in the UFC. He has some great wins on his record for sure. At welterweight, he had some problems with his chin. I do think that overall his chin isn't great, but at the same time, I don't think Tavares is great. Marquardt, though, I mean, like you said, looked very impressive in that last fight with James Tehuna, submitting him in the first round. And I think that's his best attribute, his submissions. He's extremely dangerous on the ground, and he has the ability to get it there. So if he chooses to take this fight to the ground, and it's not going to be easy because Tavares does have good takedown defense, but if he really focuses on that and he gets the fight to the ground, I think he's probably going to get the submission. We have seen Tavares submitted. He got submitted on the show by Court McGee, I think it was. So he's been submitted before. But you know, speaking on Tavares, he, like you said, was on a nice win streak. I thought this guy was really going to go far in the division, but then he had 2 bad fights in a row. He got absolutely ragdolled by Yoel Romero, and then the last fight was against Tim Boetsch. He was winning the whole fight, and then all of a sudden got knocked out. Very shocking knockout loss. I was very surprised by that, but he does have a bit of a shaky chin. He's been rocked a number of times in his career. Phil Baroni knocked him down, almost knocked him out in his second fight in the UFC. So this guy, he is a pretty tough Hawaiian guy, but I mean he's been knocked out before, and he's been rocked before. So Marquardt, I think, has that ability too. But I think if anyone more likely to get a knockout here is Brad Tavares, to be honest with you. I think his kickboxing is pretty solid overall, and he's got a little bit of underrated knockout power. It's a tough fight to call. It's very difficult. I could see it playing out a number of ways, but I slightly lean towards the dog here. 8 years younger. I like that. I like the age difference. I think he's a little bit fresher. I think he's got a bit of a better chin, although, like I said, it's a bit questionable too. And I think that overall he should be able to keep this fight standing and use his kickboxing to win a decision here. But man, even at the plus money, after seeing what happened in his last fight, getting knocked out like that, it's very, very hard to back him right now. After getting just ragdolled by Romero too, tough one. But he definitely has some nice advantages here. Like I said, the age difference, and Marquardt, like I said, he had a great fight in the last fight, but before that, he had lost 3 in a row and was getting brutally knocked out. So I don't really know where he's at either. It's a tough fight to call, but for me, it's dog or pass.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, although I would rather be getting something like, you know, 150, 170, at plus 115. Maybe I'd take it. Nick Kalikas, where'd you open this line?
Exactly. Pick them minus 120 each way when it first came out. So with the 40-cent line setting there. And it is a tough fight. I totally agree with what Adam had to say here. And, you know, I think you're along the same line as well. It's just, how can you trust either one of these guys right now? I mean, one of our guys from the website, actually, Gabe Killing, wrote an article about fights to avoid betting, and he included this fight on here. And I mean, from the sounds of it, Adam said we're all in agreement. It's a dog or pass situation here. I know Marquardt's the better fighter for sure overall. I mean, and if he was in his prime, I think it would almost be a no-brainer. I mean, the guy was definitely talented, but I mean, he has had some wear and tear, and that chin's not going to get better. I know that he didn't fare as well at welterweight with that chin, but still, I don't think it's going to get any better with time and, you know, punishment. So Brad Tavares is dangerous enough and good enough standing up that he could definitely land something and knock Marquardt out. Marquardt, again, is the better overall MMA fighter, but it's going to be hard to control I think Brad Tavares on the ground is going to be hard to kind of dominate Tavares. So this is going to be a tough fight. And I think obviously Marquardt has enough stand-up skill offensively to do some damage and possibly clip, Tavares and put him out as well. So that's why it gets a little bit tough here. But I think honestly, as far as the pick goes, I lean a little bit more towards Tavares here. I think if there is going to be a knockout, it's probably going to be Tavares knocking out Marquardt in this spot. But again, it's not nothing that you can have a great deal of confidence with. And I'm with you, Peter. I wish it'd be, if it was maybe plus 140, plus 150, then it'd be a no-brainer. I think you'd have to go with Tavares here. But since the public only bet it a little bit, they're coming in a little bit more on Marquardt, and the line hasn't gone ridiculous yet. I think it's still probably a stay away from point. But I could see, there possibly being value at either dog here. If the line flipped and Marquardt was at plus money, you can make a case that way as well. So that's why it's such a difficult fight to bet, honestly. I think a pick'em's about right.
Well, I think we're all kind of in agreement then. We think small value on Tavares at plus 115. Adam Martin, would that be your bet, or would you try to take a prop and get better value in some way with the prop, or would you take the total?
Tough one, because again, both these guys are defensively flawed. They can both get knocked out. There are some interesting props though available for sure, like Tavares by knockout. It's almost plus 500. I mean, I'm not a huge prop guy just because MMA is so unpredictable sometimes, but I mean, Tavares by knockout at plus 500 definitely has some value if you ask me. Even Marquardt by submission at nearly plus 400. I mean, that would be, I think, his path to victory here too. So I kind of favor a finish. The total has been set at 1.5 rounds. I don't like betting on 1.5 rounds because it doesn't give much time. So that's a bit tricky, but the fight doesn't go to decision, and that's an interesting prop. It's about a pick and price too. I don't think it goes 3 rounds. I think both guys are too defensively flawed. But again, it's a tough one to call.
But you would be leaning Tavares plus 115. Yeah,
for sure. I'm gonna be picking Brad Tavares in this fight.
Okay, me too. Thanks, guys.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.